Hey guys, Matt Guzman here, back with another video, and today's going to be about how to get the Public Health Merit Badge. So, for this badge, Scouts who earn the Public Health, they learn about how certain diseases are contracted, how to prevent the spread of disease, and other health-related topics. This is especially helpful during these times of quarantine and social distancing. And with that in mind, how did I get this merit badge with social distancing? How did I communicate with my counselor? Well, CFC, or Central Florida Council, is offering online webinars to aid scouts in learning merit badges. These online classes only cost $5 to attend, and you can sign up for them at www.camp The counselor that I had for this merit badge happened to be a staff member at Camp Lenoci, so, it was pretty cool. And I think it's a fun experience and an efficient way for scouts to earn merit badges while they're either stuck at home, or a good way to be productive and advance in their scouting career. Speaking of that, let's advance into the first requirement of the merit badge. 1A, explain what public health is. Now, it is tempting just to say, like, the health of the community, or making sure the public is nice and safe. Although you want to have a good definition so you understand the concept of public health. So, also explain how E. coli, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the full name of that, but tetanus, HIV and AIDS, malaria, salmonella, and Lyme disease are contracted. For 1B, choose any 4 of the following diseases or conditions and explain how each one is contracted and possibly prevented. And these list of diseases, remember, choose only 4 of them, is gonorrhea, West Nile virus, Zika, botulism, influenza, syphilis, hepatitis, emphysema, meningitis, herpes, and lead poisoning. Now, a lot of those have a lot of letters, so if I did mispronounce one, it's fine, as long as you can choose 4 and understand those things from requirement 1A. And also with these 4 diseases, 1C says for each of those that you picked, have the type or form of the malady, like viral, bacterial, environmental, or toxin, any possible vectors for the transmission, ways to prevent exposure and spread, and available treatments. So this second point right here, vectors, a lot of people don't know what vectors are, so I will discuss that in a second because it's one of the requirements. I don't know why they had the requirement later, but I'll explain it. So moving on first, 2A, explain the meaning of immunization. And that was it. 2B says, name 8 diseases that a young child should be immunized with, 2 diseases against which everyone should be re-immunized periodically, and 1 immunization to receive annually. 2C says, using the list of diseases and conditions in requirement 1B, discuss with your counselor those of which currently have no immunization available. 3. Discuss the importance of safe drinking water in terms of the spread of disease. Demonstrate 2 ways to make water safe to drink that can be used while at camp, and explain how dishes and utensils should be washed, dried, and kept sanitary at home or at camp. One common way to sanitize water is mostly known among scouts to boil it to make sure it's decontaminated from all the nasty stuff. Another way is to use a water purifier or a water pump that makes the water pure and gets rid of any nasties that might be in there. In this backpacking trip, you use these tiny stoves to boil our water. 4. Explain what a vector is and how insects and rodents can be controlled in your home and in your community and at camp. So just a quick rundown of what a vector is. What my counselor told me is basically it's a carrier of like a disease or an infection, and they do not have it. And a popular example, or a common example that he said, were mosquitoes. They're popular for carrying, or not really popular, but infamous for carrying malaria. They don't have malaria, they can just carry it and pass it on to whatever, they contract or get infected with. Not they as in the mosquitoes, they as in the things they actually, infect. So with that in mind, tell why this is important, and in this discussion, explain which vectors can be easily controlled by individuals and which require long-term collective action. Because, some effects can be very harmful to your body. Number 5, with your parents' and counselor's approval, do one of the following. And there are 2 options, but they're pretty long, so I will show the option I chose. So the option I chose is 5A, and it says, visit a municipal wastewater treatment facility or a solid waste management operation in your community. The first thing I want you to do is describe how the facility safely treats and disposes of sewage or solid waste. Discuss your visit and what you learned with your counselor. And 3. Describe how sewage and solid waste should be disposed of under wilderness and camping conditions. But Mac, I thought you said that you did this merit badge online. How were you able to visit a facility like that, like a water treatment facility? Well, so I was thinking too, and during our public merit badge online, there was a link that he had us do. By the way, this is the site that they use, the Camp Lenochi site, and depending on which merit badge you do, they have different subjects and different sections in which you do. So, for instance, there's the live sessions they recorded, there's the submission forms that you would do, and if you scroll down, there's links and stuff. At the very bottom, wastewater treatment plant tour at the actual Lenochi place. So they go over the process stage, and I thought it was pretty neat that he was able to do this since my counselor, as I said before, is a staff member of Lenochi. He was able to film this and show us a virtual tour of the water treatment facility. So we got credit for that. And once we paid attention to the video, we answered some questions to go along with it and got the requirement done. So, just know that if you need to visit somewhere or demonstrate something, you can always do it over video as a virtual tour. 6A. Describe the health dangers from air, water, and noise pollution. 6B. Describe health dangers from tobacco use and alcohol and drug abuse. And 6C. Describe the health dangers from abusing illegal and prescription drugs. So these are all health dangers related to different dangers to your health. And that's the entirety of 6 there. Moving on to 7. With your parents' and council's approval, do one of the following. Either visit your city, county, or state public health agency. Or B, which is the one that I did, familiarize yourself with your city, county, or state health agency's website. And in doing this, the first thing is compare 4 leading causes of death in your community for any of the past 5 years with the 4 leading causes of disease in your community. Also explain how the public health agency you visited, or, looked up the site, is trying to reduce the mortality rate and morbidity rates of these leading causes of illnesses and death. Second thing I want you to do, explain the role of your health agency as it relates to the outbreak of diseases. The third thing, discuss kinds of public assistance the agency provides in case of disasters, like floods, storms, tornadoes, earthquakes, and other acts of destruction. Your discussion can include the cleanup necessary after the disaster as well. Okay, so I've lived in Florida, I do live in Florida. So I live in Florida, so I clocked, God. So living in Florida, I clicked on the link that brought me to the Florida government health website. I don't know if this is the official one, but this is the one that my counselor gave to me. Unfortunately, it didn't give all the data that I needed for the requirement, but that's the thing of Google. You can always look up things in Google, and there's cdc.gov. That's a good one. That's another one that the counselor gave to me as a website, cdc.gov. And there's a lot of things that you can look up. So by using what's at your disposal to your advantage, you'll be able to either look things up or get things done efficiently and get the correct answer. For me, everything I was looking for wasn't on here, so I looked up on Google to look up for things that I did need, and then got the requirement done that way. And again, this is efficient, especially during times where we're confined to ourselves, where we can use the internet to help us with anything we need to do in advancements or in merit badges. So just keep that in mind. As I said in other videos, the internet is your friend. Use it. Moving on to number 8, which is the last requirement because it's to pick a profession in the public health sector that interests you. Find out about the education, training, and experience required to work in this profession, and discuss what you learned with your counselor. And there you go. Thank you for watching my video on how to get the public health merit badge. Please take this stuff to mind, and keep safe while you're out in public. If you are, for whatever reason, out, stay safe, be careful, and if you did enjoy the video, please like it, turn on notifications on my channel, and I will see you all on the next one. Bye! And 3, describe how sewage and solid waste should be disposed of under wilderness and camping conditions. Or B, which is the one I did, of disasters like floods, storms, tornadoes, earthquakes, and other acts of destruction. Ah!